Hey, MiniWarGamers, Steve and Kris here from MiniWarGaming.com to talk to you about Craftworld Eldar. No, it's called, Codex Eldar Craftworld. I got it backwards.
Codex.
Just came out, just dropped. In this video, we're going to talk about our, we kind of skimmed, well, we did more than skim through the book, but we're going to talk about what we felt when we first skimmed through the book the very first time. What we think about the new rules, the changes, the buffs, the debuffs, if there are any. And in our next video, paired with this one, we're going to talk about all the minor changes that happened in this codex. At first glance, there weren't that many, but I wrote them all down, and there's actually quite a few. So, first impressions of this codex. Kris, how do you feel about it? Coming from...
Like the rule standpoint, or the book on a whole?
The book on a whole. How it's written, the fluff, the art, everything.
All the fluff and the art, I really like the direction that art has taken, you know, in Games Workshop, especially like the codex covers. They're so beautiful, and of course they're all embossed. And I mean, you know, we have the older one right here, and the new one has got this warlock on the cover, and it just looks awesome. And of course, we have the blending of new artwork with old artwork. I think that's really, really, really nice.
Yep.
The fluff and everything like that. You know, I mean, it's relatively unchanged. You know, they haven't made any dramatic changes to the storyline.
Eldar do have good fluff, though.
Yeah, you know, it's a desperate struggle for the Eldar all the time. I mean, it's, you know, you're fighting its extinction, right? So it's always a desperate fight. And I mean, you know, I side with the underdogs all the time. So, you know, it appeals to me.
So, as the new layout with Games Workshop's Codex, we're both using digital right now. We haven't seen the hard copy yet; hasn't come in yet. But the digital layout, easy to follow. I think they got that done quite well, and I hope they continue with this current layout for codexes for the future. But we know Games Workshop kind of changes every year or so, so we'll see how long it lasts this long. My initial thoughts when I got to the actual rules of the models and the tweaks and the changes. Okay, I'm going to back up one step. We're talking about the power level of Codex Eldar, the one before this one. I said numerous times, if you took everything in the Codex, increased the point value by about 20%, it's all still usable, and it's still a very powerful army. Then I open up this one, and I noticed that nothing but one model really got a point increase, a few got a point decrease, and they all got buffs. Sure. So my initial thoughts, wrong way, Games Workshop.
I can see how you initially see it that way. Like, they've changed a lot of things for fluff. Some of the points cost, you know, they do go up. I think really like some of the things like the Aspect Warriors, where, you know, you're not paying for the options anymore, and you kind of get them for free. Is it really a huge buff? You know, does it really make that much of a difference? You know, did it really make a difference that your Warp Spider Exarch had Stalker? Did it really make a difference that he had that option to pay for it or not? You know, how big was that in the game? You know what I mean? Like, there's all these options before where, you know, basically a lot of choices really have been kind of dumbed down, really, for the book.
That's a fair statement.
You know, like, for example, like the Avatar. The Avatar's options have changed for, well, really, he doesn't really have
options. Yeah, you're right. This is what he is. He's Lord of War now.
Yeah, and he's a Lord of War now, which doesn't really make that big a difference.
No, not really, no.
You know, throwing them into that category.
Now, about the actual Aspect Warriors, we're going to go ahead and cover all of them in a future video. But to that point, yeah, Aspect Warriors, in internal balance, they weren't the greatest because there were just more efficient and better things to take in the Codex at the time. Now, with this one, same point cost for most of them across the board, and little tweaks that make them a little bit better. Like I said, dumbed down a little bit, but they're a little bit better, and I think that's okay. Make Aspect Warriors more takeable. I'm talking about the ones that you rarely saw on the battlefield, Banshees and Scorpions. Yeah. Hawks and Warp Spiders you saw all the time anyway, but they got some buffs, and like I said, we'll go over them later. Yeah. So yeah, the Banshees and Scorpions, yeah, they could use a little something, fine, get them on the table maybe.
Oh, I think you'll see more Banshees on the table.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I actually want to play them now.
Any of the pure Eldar purists out there who still play like a Bell 10 kind of list, yeah, they're happy as
Bell 10
pigs in slop.
Very, very viable now, yeah.
Yeah.
We can confirm a couple of things. We're going to, like, Wraith Knights, there are gargantuan creatures.
Gargantuan, yeah. that's kind of a big boost.
It's huge boost. That's one of the models that went up in points, very minorly. All distort weapons, D weapons, are actually strength D, which is, I was hoping that rumor was false.
It didn't really matter to me. I don't really play with the Wraiths that much. And the Wraith construct stuff, it's all really short ranged.
Yes.
You know,
It is.
You know, I mean, everybody's up in arms about, oh my God, it's all D strength. Oh no, but it's still short ranged. And I faced the all Wraith construct army before, and it was chewed up because it was beaten by range. And this game is shooting centric, and whoever's got longer, stronger ranged firepower is going to win now.
Absolutely, and for the most part, Eldar win that fight.
Right, yeah. And
for the most part.
And yeah, that battle was Eldar on Eldar, but, you know, I mean, it wasn't really a huge, a fair kind of comparison of the two outranging Wraithguard. But I mean, there's other armies that have fast, mobile, long-ranged abilities to take out toughness 6 creatures, massed poison weapons, whatever, right?
Right.
And, you know, that's all it takes is outmaneuvering them and outshooting them. And you would never have to worry about those D strengths,
which can be done against Wraith quite easily. Yeah.
For example, like a unit like Banshees now, who get really good. There's no reason they should fear charging into even the Wraiths with the vacuum cleaner guns, the D sides, right? Because Overwatch, you can't Overwatch, and so they have no opportunity to use that powerful D strength, and then they get tied in close combat.
So what Kris is referring to, the Banshee mask for the Howling Banshees. What it does for them is it paralyzes their opponent when they charge, so you can't overwatch a Banshee, which is that's awesome. Huge. That's smart because I've used them one time in a battle report and they got shot down trying to charge into combat. So it's like stuff like that is obviously, like I said, needed, maybe even. But across the board, everything stayed the same point wise and got a buff. So my opinion, untested right now, unplayed. That's no.
Your opinion. State your opinion. It's your
opinion. It's overpowered. It's the wrong way.
He thinks it's overpowered. I don't think it's overpowered.
Eldar currently right now, without this new Codex Eldar. No, sorry, Codex. What is it called again?
Codex Eldar Craftworlds.
Yes, Codex Eldar Craftworlds.
It's Codex Eldar
Craftworlds.
Just like Codex Eldar Harlequin.
Exactly. So I think they're all
amalgamated. Steve speculated Codex Eldar Kimura.
That's what I think is going to happen, but we don't know. We'll see.
I would have to.
I would love that. I would love that.
That's the only point we're in agreement of.
But I feel after going through all the rules, haven't played a game with them yet. Everything I can make all my old lists, but I'll get for the same point cost, but I'll get buffs. So I say they're already very strong, probably the most powerful codex yesterday. Now it's even stronger today. So I say wrong way. I'm a little disappointed. I feel bad saying this, but it's a cheesy armor. You got cheesier.
No way, because these guys. This was a huge cheese factor.
The Wave Serpents.
Wave Serpents, right here.
They've been tweaked, but they've also got a bit of a buff. You know what it is?
What?
Well, they're actually fast attack choices now as well, so you can take them without getting your 65-point unit of Guardians. So that's a bit of a buff.
Yep.
But yeah, no, the Wave Serpents did take a bit of a hit. We'll talk about now.
Because now, if you use that shooting ability, you'll lose it.
It's a one-use only Serpent Shell Dispersion. It's not Strength 7, it's Strength 6. It's not D6 plus 1, it is 2D6.
I think the tanks, the Fire Prism, Falcons, and Shadow Reavers, I think they all got minor tweakage.
Yep, for the good.
Which for the better.
For the better.
You can take them in squadrons now. Vipers, you can take them in bigger squadrons now. And all around, I mean, everything got a little bit better. They tweaked things, they adjusted things. I think really it's to gear towards getting you to get more Eldar stuff, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, exactly. That's okay. So in this codex as well, there's that new formation. Okay, hold on. Well, there's a bunch of formations. There are. Let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 13 formations in this codex. And it's all about making you buy more models. I'm okay with that. It makes sense as a business standpoint.
Yeah.
Make it fun, and the rules are fluffy too. But make it fun, fluffy rules that you want to play and buy more models. Smart idea. And then they have what's called I forget what it's called, the Craftworld War Host. That's the amalgamation of the formations all in the one formation, kind of like the Necron's Decurion. And that one just makes me want, okay, so there's about 7,000 points of Eldar here, maybe more than that, maybe more close to 10,000 points of Eldar here in the studio, and we gotta buy more.
Yeah.
So I think that's smart on Games Workshop's our part, making you want to try more of these formations. It requires a couple extra things you don't normally use. They did that with the Demonkin Codex. They did it with the Necron Codex. It made people with 10,000 point armies have to buy a few more. Dave has 38,000 points of Chaos, and he had to buy more Chaos when the Codex Demonkin came out.
No, and it's the jet bikes. You just have to look at the jet bikes and know it was completely a profit margin decision on what they did with this kit. Because they gave it, they sell it to you now with the heavy weapon options, and guess what? Every bike can now have the heavy weapon option. It used to be 1 and 3, and you got a cannon, but now you can get the cannon or the scatter laser, and so now you can just take a whole bunch of bikes, all with the heavy weapon options, and be on your merry way, just zipping across the battlefield, spraying, hosing down your enemy.
So they have not changed in point cost. They are still 17 points a model for a jet bike. Every guy in the unit can take a scatter laser or a shuriken cannon for 10 points.
I prefer the cannon.
You already have a vehicle. It's toughness 4, 3 plus armor save, 4 plus jink, with now I would say take the scatter laser, 4 strength 6 shots that has 36-inch range, or you can turbo boost 36 inches. And you can, if you don't turbo boost, you can move 2d6 in the assault phase. Nothing is more maneuverable than that with that much long range firepower. Nothing.
I'll take your word for that one.
It's nothing. So that's one of those things where, you're going to see me play that because it's cheesy and I like to do a little bit of cheese every now and then. So you're going to see me play with a lot of jet bikes with scatter lasers, but I think it was the wrong way. I am disappointed about that.
I don't know, because if you take a whole bunch of scatter lasers and I prefer to take a whole bunch of cannons, who do you think is going to win the fight in the long run?
Well, if you go jetbike on jetbike, you're probably going to win with the shuriken cannons. You get less shots, but you have that blade storm, pseudo rending, wounds on or AP2 and a 6.
AP2. Yeah, they changed that.
Yeah,
it used to be AP1, now it's an AP2 for blade storm.
It was AP1 before?
I'm pretty sure it was AP1.
I don't believe it was. It could have been. But I mean, against infantry, nothing had a 1 plus armor save anyway, and it only worked against infantry. But the scatter lasers, it's only AP6, but you get the extra shot and the extra 12-inch range. Let's leave a little bit more utility, losing the blade storm. I think the answer is scatter lasers. You think cannons, but I mean, there's probably no right answer. 1 less shot for AP5 and pseudo rending. That's not terrible. I could do that.
I'm lost in my book.
That's okay. You keep doing that. But okay, for you, your army's like. How you play Eldar, it's largely unchanged for you.
Yes, it is largely unchanged for me. Because I've always played a Samhan style army. I've collected Samhan for a long time. Everybody who's kind of followed me knows that I've played Samhan for a long time. And my army composition, for the most part, rarely ever changes much. I might throw in flyers here and there or stuff like that, but usually it's all jet bikes. And I take jet bikes, I take Vipers, and I take the fire prisms, and that usually around that, and then everything else is kind of filler for that pretty much. So it's a core of 3 prisms and Vipers, and I usually took 6 Vipers, and then took like 20 some Guardians with Farseers and Warlocks, and just kind of run amok. And I believe in the philosophy when fighting, that an army is only as fast as its slowest troop.
Very true.
And so the slowest troop still only moves 12 inches, so everything moves 12, and you're highly mobile. And I mean, I prefer that style of warfare, and it's to me it speaks the most fluffiness for Eldar, and so that's why I went Samhan. I mean, like with Wraith constructs, if I painted them all, Samhan, and played nothing but Wraiths, to me, as a purist, I suppose, it would feel unfluffy versus taking a whole whack ton of jet bikes. And because Games Workshop is currently pushing the jet bike kit, that, I mean, like, I'm basically going to get no games in. I'm not going to be playing any games because nobody's going to want to play it.
You know what? Okay, but when you make your list, it tends to be fairly balanced. You bring the fire prism.
Yeah, I love the fire prisms. They're versatile.
Yeah, no, like you
Vipers, I bring the Vipers because again, it's a mobile.
I like the Vipers too, actually, a lot.
And for a long time, Vipers, everybody would say like, "Why do you take Vipers? They're such crap."
No, 6 strength, 6 shots per thing, and they actually went down in points.
Yeah,
they're 40 points a model. If you want to upgrade your other cannon to a shuriken cannon, it's 50 points. So for 50 points, you get 2 hull points, 10 armor all the way around, and 6 strength 6 shots with blade storm.
Yep.
Not bad. Now for me, army's going to change because there are more powerful things. I'm going to keep playing with the more powerful stuff. That's how I play. But for anybody who used to be a Beltan player or Ulthwee player or a Yandam player, all these formations in this codex allow you to play that Craftworld if you wanted to. Because the Seer Council is one of the formations, they are back. With the formations for just the Affect Warriors, they can do the Beltan. So that I think, thumbs up, smart bringing that back in without having to bring all extra supplements.
I think now an all aspect, like if somebody was to play all aspects, I think it would be highly competitive.
And I'm definitely going to try it. You're right, it will be highly competitive because all the Affect Warriors got buffs. Almost all of them. We'll leave the Shining Spears out. Sorry, Shining Spear guys. But the rules are fluffy buffs. So I mean, it's just I like how they did that. All right, so we're gonna end that there. That's just our first impressions, our thoughts. Yeah, very much so. We're gonna go into the vault and do another video, and we're gonna cover all the minor changes. Well, all the minor changes that we noticed for the first couple pass-throughs of the book. All the little things we don't want to spend too much time talking about. And there was actually a lot more than I thought there was. If you're not already a Vault member, you can click the link below and get yourself a 7-day free trial, and that 7-day trial will cover the rest of the week for the rest of these videos that we're going to do all week. We're going to be doing Eldar videos, and you can catch all of them. We're doing the next video right now. Until then, happy wargaming, guys. Say goodbye, Kris.
Bye, Kris.
Nah, he's going to say it.